There's no such situation as a cheap Bentley, even though the new 4-2019 Bentayga V8 is $30,000 less expensive than its W12-powered sibling. The twin-turbo V8's $165,000 window sticker still sets it well into the upper echelon of pricey luxury vehicles. Bentley is loath to compare the two versions of the Bentayga. What parent was intended to pit siblings against each other, but does frame the V8 edition as a reasonably sportier alternative to the full-bore, glitz and glamour W12. Let's examine that line of reasoning. Under the punk of the Bentley V8 is a 4.0-liter turbocharged engine that shares most of its bits with the latest Porsche Panamera and Cayenne Turbo. The engine is specifically tuned for use in this new application, with a unique audio signature and a cool pack that Bentley says will keep it moving comfortably even in the face of the most significant desert sand dunes in the world. The V8 has top of 568 pound-feet of torque, hits below 2,000 revolutions per minute and remains precisely there until 4,500, with a horsepower peak of 542 at 6,000 from behind the wheel. The Bentayga's V8 engine feels a bit higher string than the effortless W12. Instead of instant torque, there's a strong run of superpower that constructs nicely until it nears its 7,000 RPM redline, the highest rev limit of any engine the label has in the past installed in a passenger vehicle. If such a peaky-sounding engine seems incongruous with the intent of a luxury SUV, just know that there's plenty of stunk available anytime the Move decides to push a red-bottomed Blue Bolton into the plush carpet. It's just a little less than what would be on call from the W12. But there's not enough of an inconsistency to genuinely matter. The V8 is a bit less sprightly to 60 than the W12 to 4.4 seconds versus 4.1, and, with its 180-mile-per-hour top speed, it's a meaningless 7 miles per hour slower at the top end, too. So, that doesn't really support the idea of sportiness. Neither too does the V8 manages any differently than the W12. There's only about 100 pounds separating the two vehicles, with the new V8 edition considered at 5,264 pounds. And since only half of that heavy savings is centered over the front axle, there isn't any real change to the Bentayga's driving dynamics or steering feel. That's not to say the Bentley Bentayga V8 doesn't drive well, it just doesn't drive differently than its most powerful, more expensive sibling. One myth. That's a good thing the W12's driving dynamics are good, but on the other, we'd love to tell you that the V8 version appeared lighter on its feet. In all such cases, all the inherent ability of Bentley's high-tech electronic chassis control systems represent the V8 is just as good as the W12 when driving on the road leading, or off it, or on snow and frost. As you can see in the video below. Stick around after the ICE driving show for closer looks at the interior and exterior features of the latest Bentley SUV. Bentley's 48-volt electronic anti-roll organization is optional on the V8. It's criterion on the W12, and it's a recommended addition. Electric engines react instantly to subdue the tilt treads of the massive Bentayga with nearly 740 pounds-feet of instant torque. That much power is necessary, considering the forces at play when 2.6 tons of SUV pitch and sway on 21 or 22-inch wheels and tires. Even with the high-tech anti-roll bits, there's plenty of squatting and dive under hard acceleration and braking, though cornering consignments are well managed, even quick side-to-side transitions. Optional on both V8 and W12 Bentayga. Examples for 2019 are the largest carbon ceramic brakes in the world, clamped by 10-piston calipers at the front. Customers who want to stick with cast iron brake disc can choose optional cherry red calipers. Curiously enough, the carbon discs stick with innocuous star-painted calipers. Some may prefer the watch of the Bentayga V8 over the W12, because it eschews chrome in favor of pitch dark paint for the grille and gets a unique pair of exhaust shocks with a crimped center to establish them search from great distances like 4 distinct pipes. An optional carbon fiber exterior pack includes a rear spoiler to the roof of the SUV, and while such an add-on seems superfluous, it actually looks kind of chill, and that probably contents a lot more than any real-world airflow essentials. As is the case on the outside, There aren't any major changes to the interior of the Bentayga in this new V8 guys. High-gloss carbon fiber trim is now optional, connecting Bentley's usual matte finish carbon and a whole legion of timber veneers sourced from around the world. As you'd expect from a Bentley, nearly every surface is solid and swathed in smooth or quilted leather or plush-feeling textile. There are a couple of plastic bits that seem out of neighborhood, notably the tube-shaped air passage juttings atop the center of the panache. But since they aren't touch degrees, it probably doesn't much thing. We're loved of the Bentayga's infotainment system even if it is cribbed from the Audi side's catalog, which offers up lovely higher-resolution satellite imagery instead of old-fashioned two-dimensional delineates. The two front pennants have slew of area, and the ergonomics are darn nigh perfect. For ultimate opulence, spec the Bentayga with two rear pail seats instead of a terrace and enjoy the enormous central console and the electrically operated dominates. Either way, the hut feels bright and airy thanks to a gargantuan clear roof body, which Bentayga should customers' choice. That's an oddly tough query. In reality, the V8 isn't as quick or strong as the W12, doesn't really manage any differently, and even the new 17.3-inch carbon brakes are shared across the line. Throw plainly, it's not a sportier option, despite what Bentley may claim, but that doesn't mean it's not worth consideration from those who can render a $200,000 luxury utility vehicle. The market for super deluxe sport utility vehicles is larger than you may think, and the Bentayga is easily Bentley's best-selling representation. Perhaps the closest current challenger to the Bentayga is Land Rover's Range Rover SV Autobiography, which starts at $177,200 and ascend from there. Like the Bentayga, the Rover boasts a well-worn badge with a storied pedigree, a super deluxe interior, and legitimate off-road capabilities. Now that there's a lower-priced Bentayga, Bentley stands to gain customers that may have otherwise considered a less extravagant Audi, BMW, or Mercedes. There's so little difference between the two machines are available at the Bentayga that a smart buyer may decide to choose the V8 and place those remaining $30,000 less. Actually, if you have selected the active anti-roll organization, though the cost of that option hasn't yet been disclosed, into some optional niceties or even some bespoke customization. If one of the hundreds of optional interior and exterior color scheme isn't to your penchant, a quick call to the Mulliner division will give the buyer a completely unique luxury SUV, and that may be more important to style-conscious customers than the number of cylinders underhood. Or, considering that $30,000 is privilege near the average cost of a new vehicle in the United States, a customer could vest that saved fund into a Miata, a classic roadster, or even a superbike. We're not really sure that the choice of machines makes any meaningful difference whatsoever. There's no practical reason to choose the W12 over the V8, but then again there's no practical reason to buy a Bentley Bentayga in different forms. You either crave one or you don't. You can either render one or you can't. Pick a powertrain, either powertrain, and you're supposed to won't be disappointed. In reality, you'll get what it is you pay money, a Bentley badge and a first-class ticket to the front sequence at the Valet Slough.